guys, you joined me on another video. I must apologise for any wind noise. We're back in Orrell and we're at St James Cemetery, just by St James Church over there. I've decided to do away with the A580 on this video. Reasons, but I'm just on the 11 Pro today. And honestly, it is a lot easier with the 11 Pro. Not because everything is automatic. Molly knew. These might be a relation of mine. A bit of useless information for you. My 9th great-grandfather was the first Viscount Richard Molyneux, who he had Woolton Hall built in the 1700s. Anne Rimmer, Thomas Molyneux, Mary Molyneux. Wow. I never realised they were here. And this is a place I've come to quite often as well. Yeah, so it's not because it's all automatic and easy to do, per se. It's just because, I don't know, my A580 is getting old. I'm not gonna justify it or whatever, go on about it, but yeah, I'll just use this one for now. I'll have a look at some of these ones. There are a couple of graves that we'll be looking at in a bit more detail today. And the reason for that is history, basically. And that's a bit of a mess over there. They could do with cleaning that up, but never mind. I know they do work really hard to keep these cemeteries in good shape. I wonder whether that's a war one. J. Barton, Navigator, Royal Air Force, 1st of March 1943, age 21. Wow. Oh, and another thing as well, guys. When I use, excuse me, a lower frame rate, it's because of the idea of it being filmy, if that makes sense. But today, because I'm using the 11 Pro, and it's a bit more modern, pardon my language in the grounds of a church, but fuck it, I'm using 4K 60. Oh, look at that one. Someone's got a pint of Guinness there. Nice one. Elizabeth, Helen, Birchall, Thomas, Ignatius, Birchall. Nice. Eric, Arnold Jones, and Maureen. Rest in peace. So, I'll not tell you just yet, I'll let you watch a bit more of the video, but these couple of graves we're going to visit today, there are some interesting historical facts I want to talk to you about, one of which includes quite a number of children who passed quite early in life, which is really sad. And unfortunately, we can't find anything on these people, any of them, anywhere. Even local history, sort of, documents and historical files. We keep drawing a dead end for some reason, trying to find them, which is really unfortunate. Sorry, I had my hand in the way then. This is a nice one. It's on a bit of a lean. What does it say? Oh, I can't really make it out. Perhaps in time I'll invest in a torch. That could be quite interesting, because I have seen on other graveyard videos it's quite useful even in daylight for showing up letters. Maurice Wilding, 23rd of the 11th, 36 to the 14th of 12th, 2010. I always like these ones, like a Celtic cross type of design. They tend to be quite old as well, but you can't really make out the writing on this one either. And we're joined by Paddy. Hello! As you can see, guys, it's quite a nice cemetery. Not quite as overgrown as the other one in the last video, but nonetheless, I suppose they all have the same purpose, don't they? And that's St. James Church over there. Oh, look at this one, guys. It's all kind of held up with timber. What is it with this S engraved in the top? I keep seeing that. Am I drawn to it because my first initial is S? Or is there a reason for that? What does that mean? Let me know if you know. People, if you will, please. Interesting. I like these ones. I'm very drawn to them for some reason. I think the stonemasonry is lovely, but there's something else about them that I don't know what it is. Let's have a look. Hold on. $19.17. Ah, that's sad. Unfortunately, this one is broke. Oh. There's another one propped up here as well. Looks cool the way they've done that. I like that. At least they're trying to look after them, you know. I imagine it's a lot of hard work for people who have the job of taking care of all these. Yeah. I don't suppose by any chance that would be alabaster on the cross. I may be way off there. Oh wow. That one's made to look like logs. You see? (1901), James Smith and Alice. (1942). It's a long time to be without your loved one, isn't it? Not that I'd know, but I don't think it takes experience to understand. It's a long, long time. They say it's true, you really can die of a broken heart. I believe that myself. If any of you have seen the movie Jimmy Grimble, do you remember when they went looking for Robbie Brewer? I understand it was fake, that grave, but don't the Gothic type of headstones look just like that? It's funny what you remember as a kid, isn't it? Apparently there's a nun buried here, guys. Can't quite see. Just trying to move some of this shrubbery. Oh, it's a cross on top, isn't it? Nice shot of the church there, folks. So this one, folks, unfortunately they drowned. There used to be a quarry nearby to here, otherwise known as Blue Lag. Or Billinge Hill, my mum-in-law says. So this is one of them that we were talking about. Nice big cross. And it's there again. That's interesting. I'll just ask if my mum-in-law knows. So apparently it means, in Latin, something along the lines of Jesus is with you. So that's interesting. I don't know why I keep seeing them though. Unless they're just very, very common. I hope it's not a bad sign. So yeah. So, story goes, this young man, he was training to be a miner. And they'd introduced electricity to this particular pit.
2 days before.
2 days before. And what had happened? He'd put his hand on...
They left him in the cabin.
He was left in the cabin.
He couldn't resist it, and he switched one of the switches.
So is it basically ignited the...
He got electrocuted.
Yeah. So he's died by electrocution. But I suppose back then, what year was this?
I think it was 19 something.
Robert, is it this one? 19...
John T. Olker of Winston. I can't see date. He was only 21, I know he was only 21.
1903? 1903. So I suppose they wouldn't have understood electricity like we do now. So...
No, his dad wasn't very pleased that they put electricity in. His dad's Robert.
Right, okay. So, son, father, possibly grandfather, or
Yeah,
mum, grandma.
in there too.
Yeah. So yeah, he's essentially electrocuted himself by accident, unfortunately. At the end of the video, we'll come back to this one, and I'll do a voiceover where we talk a bit more about it, because we've got a book that's got way more details in it. So that'd be better, rather than, you know, kind of winging it. But yeah. Okay guys, I'm just going to voice over this part, and I'll insert some images as we go along as well. Back to this grave, the particular grave about John T. Olker, who was killed by electricity. I said I'd add in some more information because we had a book at home that contained all of the facts and the story about it. It's Lancashire Who Lies Beneath by Elizabeth Ashworth, So all credit goes to Elizabeth Ashworth for this particular book. It's on page 51 under Orrell, and I'll read it as is. So, John T. Alker, killed by electricity. John T. Alker was not famous in his life, but his death was a tragedy. His tall granite memorial in the churchyard of St. James's Roman Catholic Church in Orrell near Wigan reads, Sacred Heart of Jesus, have mercy on the soul of John T. Alker of Winstanley, killed by electricity June 24th, 1898, aged 21 years. John was the younger son of a well-known farming family in the Winstanley district, and was training as a mining student with J&R Stone at Park Collier's Garswood, Ashton in Makefield, which was about 4 miles from his home. I'll not read the full thing, I'll just read the main bits of it, really. So, on the morning of Friday the 24th of June, 1898, he's gone down to Collier's number 1 pit, along with a mining surveyor who was called Frederick McGill, and the colliery firemen John Cunliffe and Joseph Smalls. They were there to carry out an inspection of the mine, and at the time they'd just put in electrical lighting about 2 days before this particular day. They arrived at the pit bottom just before 10:45 a.m. apparently, to allow their eyes to adjust to the brightness of this new lighting, because of course back in the 1800s electricity was still new. They stepped into the underlooker's cabin, and it contained the control panel for both the lighting and the electrical pumping systems. Half an hour later, McGill, Cunliffe and Smalls have left the cabin and began to walk along the roadway. They realised John Alker wasn't with them, and they looked back and saw his head and shoulders hanging out of the doorway of the cabin, with his face contorted and obviously in severe pain. McGill ran back and saw that John was holding one of the switches in the electrical control panel. He shouted to Cunliffe and Smalls that Alker was, and I quote, stuck fast with the electricity, unquote. So what a way to go, eh, folks? Really unfortunate that. It does go on to say, they hurriedly took the body to the surface, and they called a doctor, but they pronounced John Alker dead and the police were summoned. In line with accepted legal procedures, his body should have remained at the nearest police house, and a coroner's jury would have, viewed the body and made arrangements. But John Alker's dad, Robert Alker, who we saw as well, had been informed, and he came quickly, and he demanded his son's body was taken home with no delay. PC Grantham warned him, apparently, that the body could not be removed without the coroner's consent, but his dad, Robert, he was insistent, apparently. I can imagine, I think I understand. I know where he's coming from. You've just lost a son, haven't you? It's going to be difficult. You don't want to be waiting around for people. And in those days, I don't imagine they were getting around in, top-of-the-range police cars, whatever. Well, they don't nowadays, do they? But if they were on horse and cart, which I imagine is the most likely thing, it would have been a fair bit of time, I think, before they got there. So I think I understand where Robert was coming from with that. These ones were recently sandblasted. You see, 1874, Reverend Thomas Adamson, Reverend Moises Doone, also Reverend Dean Parkinson, 1899-1929. Oh, sorry, that's when he was rector. He died in 1929. Yeah, okay. That's a nice thing to acknowledge. This stone was erected by a grateful people who will never forget him in their prayers. Yeah. Look up to the church there. So, just a bit of information here, folks. It's not factual, because I haven't really fact-checked it, but I don't believe the cemeteries around here, barring one or two of them, have been documented properly. Not in this format, anyway. So, hopefully this can be something of a new thing, if you know the area especially. I've got it all on film now. Some more Molly news here, folks. Possible relations of mine. I don't know. Really big stone. Let's go and pay him a visit, shall we? John Lee Molyneux. 1855, or is it 1835? 1835. Elizabeth Molyneux. I can't quite make that one out. would be 98.
Only young, right?
Another nice engraving there. You know, the masons years ago, they must have worked really hard on the stones, getting them to shape and putting the writing in. Oh, there's a Mary Berry there. Wow.
17 years.
If you're not from the UK, you may not be aware of Mary Berry. Mary Berry, even. She's quite a popular TV personality for cooking. Obviously not the same person, because she's still with us today. Right guys, Jane Sim, who died December 30th, 1887, aged 47. This is the one we was on about. Also, her daughter, Margaret Sim, 22nd of May, 1863, aged 1 year, 4 months even. Also, Anne Sim, 1865, 1 year, 8 months. Also, her daughter, Margaret Sim, 20th of March, 1872, aged 5 and 9 months. Also, her son, John Thomas Sim, 24th of June, 1872, aged 1 year, 7 months. Also, her son John Sim, October 24th, 1873, aged 11 months. Also, her daughter Elizabeth Sim, May 15th, 1880, aged 2 months. Also, her son Abraham Sim, November 22nd, 1882, 1 year, 5 months. Thomas Sim, Jane's husband, who died March 5th, 1892, aged 55. In loving memory of William Thomas Sim, son of James and Sarah Sim, and grandson of the above, who died November 24th, 1905. Rest in peace. Yeah, unfortunately we can't find any records of these people, which is really unfortunate. We've made a little family tree for them on Ancestry, but so far there's no hints. There are no hints even, and yeah, none of the other public records seem to have any inkling. We'll keep looking. We will. Thy will be done.